Seemed like they did not want to be seen. Well, the two people appear to be the CEO of a software development firm and his head of HR.
When the video hit 50 million views, the crowd wasn't focused on the concert anymore. They were fixated on the couple awkwardly dodging a kiss under the spotlight. Two executives caught on screen, looked uncomfortable, and whispered to each other like no one else could see them. But someone did see them. Just off to the side, a woman was captured mid-laugh, as if she'd just seen something she'd been waiting for. Her name is Alyssa Stoddard. People within the company now claim she wasn't just a random bystander. Multiple insiders believe she may have been the one who set everything in motion.
We're going to continue to expand globally.
Andy Byron, CEO of a billion-dollar AI company, and Kristen Cabot, his head of human resources, were seen shrinking in panic at the concert.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Alyssa had been waiting for this moment, not for the concert itself, but for the company to finally slip up. She had spent 5 years working at Astronomer, a once thriving tech company run by Andy Byron. On paper, Alyssa held a basic HR role. Nothing flashy, nothing powerful. But people who understood the internal structure say she was far more informed than she appeared. She had access to hiring records, termination files, and most importantly, promotion histories. So when Kristen Cabot, now recognized because of what happened at a Coldplay concert, suddenly climbed the ranks to become senior HR director, Alyssa paid close attention. Rumors spread that Kristen hadn't earned her new position. Insiders whispered that she was secretly involved with CEO Andy Byron. The relationship was believed to have started after a company retreat 2 years earlier. A former employee mentioned that many suspected something was going on, but Alyssa had access to what others didn't: meeting logs, flight bookings, and internal messages. People at Astronomer now say Kristen's promotion came not long after she and Andy began taking frequent business trips together. One strange detail stood out: a 3-day extension in Napa that wasn't listed on any official agenda. But the turning point didn't come behind closed doors. It happened in public, at a concert. Sources claim Alyssa knew Kristen and Andy would be at the Coldplay event together. She went too, sat right beside Kristen, and ended up appearing for a few seconds in the viral Kiss Cam footage. Andy and Kristen looked stunned when the camera landed on them. Alyssa simply smiled, then laughed. That small reaction is now fueling a growing theory online.
I've not commented on the incident.
Listen, viva la vida, but with amazing people, like, what are you doing? Head of HR.
Head of HR.
Yeah, and the CEO. What are you guys doing?
Alyssa had it all figured out. Could someone usually overlooked really cause trouble for two high-ranking executives with nothing more than a laugh at the right moment? People inside the company believe it wasn't random at all, just the final step in a plan that had been building for a long time. And if the stories about what Alyssa did next are accurate, then that laugh was only the beginning. According to those familiar with what unfolded, Alyssa wasn't simply reacting to the moment at the concert. She had been waiting for the chance. That laugh had history behind it. People say her resentment toward Kristen started small: missed opportunities, being passed over, feeling invisible in meetings. But things shifted once she learned that Kristen, the person who got the promotion Alyssa wanted, had been meeting privately with the CEO. These weren't work-related check-ins. They were personal dinners, done off the clock, and clearly against company policies. Alyssa's suspicions reportedly began at a company party 2 years earlier. Most employees left around the same time, but Kristen and Andy stayed behind, just the two of them. That's when Alyssa began keeping track of everything. A source close to the office said she didn't gather gossip. She kept records, exact dates, email threads, even times. People started to notice things adding up. Kristen began showing up at meetings she'd normally have no reason to attend. Flights for conferences were being rearranged at the last minute. Hotel upgrades were happening without explanation. Those close to what happened say Alyssa didn't waste time connecting the dots. She gathered evidence fast.
Spoke with workplace expert Stephen Viscusi.
This requires, to me, not one, but 2 resignations.
There's a person close to the HR department who says Alyssa stumbled across something she wasn't supposed to see. It happened by chance. While she was going through internal expense reports like she often did, one of them stood out: a reimbursement request labeled as a team dinner at an upscale wine bar in Soma. It wasn't the type of place most team dinners happened, and the odd part was only 2 names appeared: Andy and Kristen. No one else, no wider team, just the 2 of them. That small detail didn't sit right. What bothered Alyssa even more wasn't just the dinner itself. It was the way it had been labeled and submitted, almost as if it had been disguised. It didn't feel feel like a casual get-together anymore. It felt arranged, thought out, possibly hidden for a reason. The situation took on more weight when you consider what was already happening behind the scenes. 3 months before that night, Alyssa had put her name in for the role of HR director. She was confident. She'd been at the company longer than most. Her certifications were deeper, and performance reviews consistently showed her ahead of the curve. But when the decision came down, the job went to Kristen. The news surprised more than a few people. What made it worse was what followed. The approval process had bypassed protocol. Instead of the typical 3-person committee, it was just Andy. One signature, one decision, no transparency. Word got around quickly, and that's reportedly when Alyssa changed course entirely. She stopped speaking openly in meetings, started keeping digital notes, and quietly saved email threads. It wasn't paranoia exactly. It was a shift in trust. Someone familiar with her mindset at the time described it not as panic, but as strategy, a quiet pivot. Kristen, they said, seemed to lean into charm and likability, while Alyssa went silent and watchful. Everything built slowly. Then came the concert, the story going around online, especially on one Reddit thread that gained traction fast, is that Alyssa didn't just randomly end up in that particular section at Gillette Stadium. It was intentional. Multiple people claim she researched the seating layout ahead of time, zeroing in on the rows most often hit by the Kiss Cam. Not just any seats, the middle section, center left, where the camera lingers longest. Whether she wanted a fleeting glimpse on screen or something more permanent is still being argued. Some think it was just a coincidence. Others are convinced she paid more than average to get into that perfect range. A tech blogger commented on the situation and admitted there's no solid proof tying Alyssa to any of it. No receipt trail or confirmed purchase pattern. Still, the placement was oddly specific, suspiciously ideal, and for some watching it all unfold, that detail was enough.
Yeah, because he just realized how many millions of dollars he lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, it's like, if he didn't freak out, no one would have any idea that this had happened.
True.
That was the moment things truly shifted. It started with something simple, a smile. It was unexpected, almost too subtle to notice at first. Then the camera angle changed. Kristen's face showed confusion. Andy, clearly caught off guard, stepped away fast, almost instinctively. And Alyssa, she let out a breath she had been holding in for what felt like forever. It wasn't a gasp of shock though. It was something more controlled, more internal, like someone finally feeling something click into place. On the internet, viewers reacted quickly, throwing out memes and teasing remarks about what many called the most awkward pairing caught live. Still, what most didn't realize was that Alyssa wasn't caught off guard at all. According to those close to her, she had already made up her mind about how she'd handle it. The moment the concert came to an end, she didn't join in on the clapping or cheering. There were no celebratory texts or lingering looks. She got to work almost immediately. A person familiar with her actions said she isolated that short clip, the exact few seconds where everything played out, and snipped it right from the raw stream. She transferred it quietly, without speaking a word, to an email address that wasn't attached to any of her known accounts. She didn't leave any trace that pointed back to her. She was careful, intentional. That source claims that within just a few hours, the video started to show up in curious places. A couple of Reddit threads, an Instagram page known for tech industry drama, and eventually on the homepage of an entertainment gossip site known for tracking down things that weren't meant to be public. What made the clip so captivating wasn't any flashy editing or eye-catching watermark. It was stripped of anything extra, just a raw 15-second stretch of time that managed to hold fear, tension, humor, and closeness all at once. And that simplicity made it impossible to ignore.
I think cheating is an abomination, okay? And this man has a wife, he has children, these kids are gonna have to watch and see this. They don't look, I would be devastated if I was his wife.
You do have to think about the children and the spouses. We're all laughing about it, but they're all families and stuff.
TikTok picked up the moment instantly and pushed it into the spotlight, but that's also when things reportedly took a darker turn behind the scenes. According to people inside Astronomer, Kristen Cabot wasn't supposed to be anywhere near Boston that weekend. Her schedule, according to internal records, had her working remotely from a different location entirely. But the Kiss Cam clip made it impossible to deny. There she was, sitting with the CEO. An employee said this wasn't just embarrassing, it meant she had lied on official documents. That alone sent leadership into a panic. What followed was a rushed meeting with board members, deleted email trails, and a quiet internal investigation run by HR, with Alyssa leading it. Some called it poetic. One person said Alyssa had been biding her time, waiting for a slip-up she could act on, and now she was sitting across from people asking questions they weren't ready to answer. Kristen was called in the Monday after the concert for what was supposed to be a standard meeting, but Alyssa was already there, and those familiar with the exchange said she barely spoke. She didn't need to. Soon after the video gained attention, Kristen was suspended. Andy Byron tried to minimize the damage, claiming the moment had been misunderstood, but insiders say he was told to step down before the company's owners got directly involved. Though it was announced as a mutual parting, his digital footprint vanished. His LinkedIn was cleared, company bios deleted. Behind the scenes, Andy reportedly started digging, asking IT if the company had been hacked, trying to trace who leaked the footage. But internal sources say the file never touched the company's network. Instead, it was uploaded using public Wi-Fi from a Cambridge coffee shop, coincidentally where Alyssa is believed to live. Then came something no one expected. A journalist received an anonymous package that included a detailed timeline of Kristen and Andy's alleged relationship. It included emails, itineraries, calendar screenshots, far more than a casual leak. The reporter called it thorough, and though Alyssa made no public comment, people say she was promoted not long after. By the end of the week, the damage wasn't just public image, it was internal collapse. Anonymous reviews appeared online, criticizing leadership, calling out favoritism, and accusing execs of misusing their roles for personal gain. One review claimed promotions weren't based on skill, but on who you were close to. Kristen and Andy weren't named, but legal teams took notice. Insiders say the real issue wasn't the video, it was everything it exposed. A former finance employee revealed that Kristen had approved questionable expenses tied to Andy's personal life. First-class flights labeled as training, luxurious meals under the name of team events, even a supposed offsite that looked more like a private vacation. An accountant said those receipts were buried in untouched budget categories. But once the video spread, more people started digging. Alyssa wasn't the only one who had questions. She was just the first to act, or maybe the one who inspired others to do the same. Around the same time, Kristen's husband quietly moved out. Neighbors mentioned moving vans early one morning. No arguments, no drama, just silence. Since then, Kristen has disappeared from public view and taken down parts of her online presence. Andy, on the other hand, is still dealing with the fallout. He's been dropped from events, lost invitations, and was removed from a tech advisory group. His fall was quick. A VC insider said it wasn't just the scandal, it was Andy's ego that made things worse. He even tried to blame the woman who recorded the Kiss Cam moment, suggesting she leaked it, but sources say she had nothing to do with it. The video first appeared through a fake account, and Reddit users linked the email to something similar to Alyssa's former login. Things only got stranger. Several employees now say Alyssa had been asking for transfers out of HR months before the concert, even requesting to join Astronomer's internal compliance team. Some now believe the Coldplay incident wasn't random at all, but carefully staged. One insider described it not as emotional retaliation, but a smart, strategic play. And maybe that's true. Just over a month after the Kiss video went viral, Kristen resigned. Andy vanished from industry conversations. Astronomer, once on the rise, is now struggling to regain credibility with its team and backers. In the middle of it all, Alyssa Stoddard has stepped forward, not loudly, but clearly. She's now interim head of people and culture, the same position Kristen once held, but people say it's more than a temporary role. She's running a full audit of promotions and hiring practices. Sources claim she's already uncovered several cases of favoritism that had been brushed aside for years. Through it all, Alyssa hasn't spoken publicly. No interviews, no tweets. A PR expert called her silence powerful, letting the story unfold without her pushing it. Now, the perception of her is changing. She seems calm, composed, and above the chaos. An HR consultant even said that Alyssa has become someone to watch and learn from. Meanwhile, Kristen is in the middle of a divorce. Reports say her husband cited irreconcilable differences and wants full custody of their children. Andy is reportedly negotiating an exit deal that would include money in return for staying quiet about Astronomer's inner workings. Legal teams are said to be drafting strict terms to ensure nothing leaks. An insider said he's leaving with a check, but not with dignity. And the woman who recorded the Kiss Cam, TikTok users say she's now being approached by reporters, agents, even producers looking to turn her story into a show. But she had no connection to Alyssa. She posted the video simply because it was odd and funny. It just happened to be exactly the moment Alyssa needed. So now people are asking, was this all luck? Or did Alyssa design it piece by piece? In a world where silence often means guilt, she used hers like a weapon. And now, as Astronomer rebuilds and its former leadership leaders fade away, the person who stayed quiet is suddenly the one in charge. So what's the truth? Was she just smart enough to seize the moment, or was it hers from the start? Either way, the message is clear. Never underestimate the quiet one. They may be the one pulling all the strings.